Champions of the Realm, welcome to week 2 of the Paladins Founders Qualifying Tournament. This day is Europe, as you well know. My name is Vox, and I will be your host and caster today. Joining me are your admins and production crew from Paladins World, Onilight and Phasion, and of course, my co-caster, Tattle.
Welcome everyone, of course, to today. I'm going to break down the format right now. So, of course, this is the second week of the Open Qualifiers. This is the EU day 1 for the second week. And, of course, the format's breaking down. We have each week, of course, open brackets for the first team that makes it through, take their round in the playoffs for that 5th week slot. 4 slots available. First one is already taken, of course, in the previous week by Torpedo. 3 slots left up for grab, and the best 2 teams from that last playoff week will go forwards and move into the DreamHack tournament to, of course, play for that 100k prize pool.
Yes, indeedy. Now, we do have the brackets on the screen for you for today. So taking a quick look, there are fewer teams than last week, which is sort of expected. And we can attribute this down to a couple of different reasons. First of all, the winning team from last weekend, Torpedo, are no longer going to be competing in subsequent qualifying rounds. They have gone straight through to week 5, the playoffs. We also did have a couple of no-shows last week. And as a result, they haven't actually turned up again this week. So that has brought our total team count down to 9. Just taking a quick look at the brackets, in round 1, we do have one game going on in round 1. It is TeamTracktor versus Flankster. Round 2, Death and Taxes will face the winner of that first round, being first seed from last week. District 69, Team Griffin, face off as well. Fate Esports, Disco Prism, returning face from last week, a new team there as well. And Question Mark and Exordium down the bottom. So, Tattle, any predictions going through on how you think these games might fare, how you think maybe the returning newer teams might fare against some of these established older ones, especially since we've seen a pretty significant change in the game within the last patch?
Yeah, especially with the changes coming forward. We're not really sure how things are going to go. A lot of changes came forward and changed up with a lot of the meta and the playstyle recently, but you can see how things are generally going to go from here. Round 1 going into round 2 feels slightly unfortunate for the team going up against Death and Taxes after that first round. I'm going to go for a bold prediction here and say Death and Taxes will take that and move through to the semi-finals. But from there onwards, things are looking pretty heated up. District 69 versus Team Griffin could go either way, honestly. Griffin have been known to cause some upsets, but it looks like District 69 will probably take that series. Fate versus Disco Prism, another one of those newer teams that show potential going up against a more established team of Fate. Fate will probably, again, take that through into the semifinals. And again, another team that shows potential, Exordium, up against Team Question Mark. That one honestly could go either way, even more so than the previous ones. Team Question Mark having issues showing up in these past few weeks in any significant way, issues with where they've been seeded in the brackets, being unlucky with that, and as well as just not playing to their usual and expected standard in the past 3 to 4 weeks. Means that is definitely a 50-50 split in my mind. Exordium could cause an upset and take it from them into the semifinals. And then from there on, of course, it will be Clash of the Titans trying to move forwards into those finals as the teams try and find their all-important second seed.
Absolutely, and that second seed will give somebody a little bit of an edge going into the playoff games. Of course, first seed will fight fourth seed, second, third, and so on and so forth in that playoff tournament. Quick look, I'm really excited actually. One team that I'm really excited to keep an eye on this week is Fate. Death and Taxes came out with a phenomenal performance last week. They really exceeded expectations, but we can't ignore the fact that Fate Esports took third. Fate have been almost lackluster for most of the Paladins World tournament. They've got good individual players. They haven't sort of worked as cohesively as a team as perhaps we'd have liked to see, but they took third last weekend. And if they continue improving at the rate which they showed then, I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the finals, in all honesty. So I'm really looking forward to that. We'll definitely keep an eye on that side of the bracket going forward into round 2 in your semi-finals. One thing to note for everybody listening at home right now, this is week 2. So, of course, from here on out, the final match of each day of every week will be covered by the Hi-Rez casting crew from their Atlanta, Georgia offices, and they will be covering that on Paladins game hosted on a Hi-Rez TV. So there'll be a slight delay whilst we hand over from the semi-finals to the finals, but we hope that you're going to enjoy seeing that coming out from then. So without further ado, I think we're about ready to get into round one, which, as previously stated, is TeamTracktor versus Flankster. There'll be a brief 2-minute delay whilst we get set up for spectator mode, and we'll bring you that game in just a moment. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you all so much for your patience. We're getting into game one of this set in round one. Right now, on the left-hand side of your scoreboard, we can see Flankster. We have LoloBagget, Knipo, Tylon, Barfix, and Jhamz on Pip, Grok, Eevee, Barrack, and Androxus, respectively. Tattle, break it down for me with the other team.
And of course, on the other team, we do have the team of Tractor. We have Sytrus on Kinessa, PosioninGod on Cassie, Roey on Pip, Dark Soul on Barrack, and bransky on Androxus. We've got some odd picks coming out here. Bit of differentiation between the teams as well.
Indeed, we do. We appear to have a pause coming out. Is that something which everybody else is seeing?
Yep, but that gives us some time to talk about these picks. So
it does
pretty
indeed.
handy.
Well, rather, before we go into picks, let's just talk about a quick change which players who haven't played this new patch, CB25, closed beta patch 25, might not be aware of. The scoring has been changed in capture and payload slightly. There was a little bit of a swap just because it was felt that defending the payload wasn't rewarding enough. I mean, it wasn't rewarding at all in CB24 and previous patches because you didn't gain a point from it. So now the total score required to win a game is 9. You gain 2 points per point capture, you gain 2 points per payload conversion, but you gain a point if you successfully defend, which means that you can actually win an entire game off a defense.
Yeah, you could indeed. If you get ahead on points early on and manage to win a defend on 8 points, you could win from that defense. So it gets a bit risky for teams looking for the attack.
It is indeed. Now, one thing I think we should mention about these picks as well, which I'm quite interested to see, is there is a Kinessa pick on the side of TeamTracktor, which we don't usually see that coming in. They are running the critical hits for specialty card, which means that successful shots made to the upper half of an enemy character will deal 40% increased damage, so hitting pretty significantly. But I mean, Kinessa's not seen that much in competitive play because of how much of a glass cannon they are and how easily they're flanked by sort of more mobile picks like Eevee, for example.
Or Androxus, as we saw there, is Knipo and Jhamz pushed forwards, taking out 2 members on the side of Tractors, wiping the team and getting themselves that first payload. They pick up the first 2 points of the game as they're looking for that conversion into the sweet lead of 4 points into this one.
Now, what seems a little peculiar to me, we see Dark Soul on this barrack here. He set up a barricade, he set up a turret, but he's in the wrong choke. He's down what we like to call the flanking choke point, whereas the payloads are actually heading around to the other one where there's high ground advantage, and already it looks like TeamTracktor is starting to be pushed back by the high ground advantage coming out from LoloBagget on this Pip.
Yeah, he's just getting rounds off, and PosioninGod taking solo. Chicken comes through, that hits onto 2, but no damage coming through on the other side. PosioninGod gets back and gets himself some health on. He's going to live through this one. The rest of the team, however, still pushing the payload. Knipo just pushing forwards even more. Roey starting to take some damage. Silas on that Kinessa trying to dodge. Does manage to get out with a teleporter, but Tylon, meanwhile, on the Eevee, he's in the base. He picks up 1 kill. He's looking for the second onto bransky. 1 more shot and that'll take it through. That's a double for him. They're still pushing forward with this payload, however.
Excellent play from the flanking Eevee. Dark Soul being brought very low, does have to go straight back into base to heal up for a second. Comes out before full health, and there's a bit of a payload contest there at the conversion point, but it's not quite enough. Members of TeamTracktor a little bit too low to contest that successfully. Flankster take 2 points for the capture and 2 points for the conversion, leading currently 4-0.
Yeah, they're really taking an early game advantage with this one. The side of Flankster is just not able to, the side of Tractor's not able to put up any kind of serious defense on that one, as we see
before we go any further though,
coming through.
Let's quickly pull up the scoreboard before the next point spawns. We can see some new burn cards out there for everybody. Breaking that down quickly, those red cards which you see on your left, that is the card developed, now gives you 600 health whilst you have the burn card active. We can see master ridings, these sort of bluey green ones, and the one that looks like a shield, that would be, if I'm not mistaken, that would be blast shields picked up by all 5 members. And then I think that's one, is that sterilized?
That's sterilize on the far left with
as well,
the red,
which reduces the duration of damage over time effects. Now,
Oh, no, that is
No?
the far left, the red one is
Oh, not the red one's
one...
developed. The bottom
Oh,
right-hand
yeah.
shield.
Yeah, that's sterilized, I think.
Excellent.
Actually,
If
the
you take a look
fight
at your...
going through, it seems like TeamTracktor is able to actually get some advantage here. They picked up one. Knipo manages to take one back for himself. The dome shield comes down on the point. That picks up barfix. Knipo and Jhamz looking really low. Meanwhile, LoloBagget's still trying to do the damage that he can. Jhamz picks up one. He's about to get traded out. A chicken comes through onto Dark Souls. That pushes him away. Jhamz manages to pick up the kill. Knipo as well. He picks up PosioninGod. Roey manages to trade, but this is still going in the favor of Team Flanksters somehow.
Indeed, they were 2 versus 3 on that capture point. Managed to turn it around in their favor. Will get the second cap of the game in just a moment here, now leading 6 points to 0. One thing I do want to just point out about the burn cards, however, if we go back to the scoreboard, you now lose burn cards on death. They last for 1 round if you manage to stay alive for the entire duration, but you do lose them on death. They are also now purchasable mid-round, have increased effects and increased cost as a result. So they're sort of seen as that more risky potentially advantage that you can gain over your opponents. But if your opponents do manage to kill you with those burn cards active, you're losing a lot of credits there.
But I tell you what, it's working out right now for LoloBagget and Hi-Rez. LoloBagget picks up 2 kills of his own, pushing forward still into the base. And Knipo just going off on one. He's in the face of Sytrus in the base right now. Jhamz comes in to try and pick up that kill. Knipo still gets it. He's on an 11 streak, going mad on this Grok right now. LoloBagget and Tylon pushing forward onto Bransky in the base. Meanwhile, the payload's still pushing forward. Roey trying to delay that in the back, but it's not going to be enough. They fall back to push him off. PosioninGod, one more hit and he'll be taken down. LoloBagget trying to pick that one up. He gets it too. 10 and 12 kill streaks for them. They're still on their burn cards as well.
They are indeed. There is a slight bit of payload contest going on just here as well as Dark Soul is back. That barrack may be able to hold for a little while, but I mean, not for too long. There's 1 turret up versus 4 members of Team Flankster, and they just push the payload straight through as Dark Soul is forced to retreat. And now Flankster lead 8 points to 0, almost a clean sweep so far. Only 1 more point needed to win this first game. And in which case, we could actually see Flankster here give up the first capture point and just look for the defense. It will make the game a little bit longer, but if the capture point advantage does start to go in the way of TeamTracktor, it may be the wiser decision to make. Yeah,
definitely. They could just go for that, allowing them to take the point and then go for a really solid defense if they wanted to. But if I were Team Flankster right now, I'd be pretty confident with this point going it forward. They have the burn cards advantage once again. PosioninGod and Dark Soul, the only members on the side of Tractors who have any burn cards right now. Tylon goes in, meanwhile, he gets a good freeze, but he's going to get forced off. No damage coming through. Bransky gets picked up, however, by LoloBagget. They're still looking for more kills on this point. Knipo going forwards, very aggressive once more on that Grok.
He is indeed, and one important change in CB25 is that Grok's damage was actually nerfed per tick. It was felt that Grok was doing a little bit too much without his damage build active, but we can see Knipo still being very, very effective despite running this Healing Rain specialty card instead of the Invigorate one, which increases your attack speed. So still devastating, still Grok, very tanky with that extra 600 health on the Develop Burn card, and it's just total domination on the side of Flankster right now over TeamTracktor.
And Knipo what was it?
LoloBagget.
LoloBagget?
What a name.
LoloBagget. Going off that game. Don't think they died a single time, actually. Going at 16 and 13 kill streak, I think, by the end of the game. And crazy play from them. Knipo going just completely aggressive the whole time. Yeah, 16 and 15 kill streaks each. 0 deaths, 2 solo kills each. Tylon actually impressively with 6 solo kills as well. He was going very aggressive in the backline. He does die twice for it, but he's doing work as well on that backline. Jhamz not having to do much damage in that fight, but still getting an impressive 11 eliminations despite the low damage, helping his team out in the way he can. And fortunately for TeamTracktor, he's just not able to gain any ground. That Knessa pick on Sytrus not working out, being pushed and aggressed onto way too often.
Now, we do see 7 deaths on the Knessa pick there for Sytrus, though we do also see 14k damage. Now, I want to take a look at Androxus's damage here. 6 deaths, 0 solo kills, 1 elimination, and 3.5k player damage, which is quite frankly abysmal. And I'm wondering what's going on there. Now, we don't know if they are experiencing connection difficulties. and we can give them the benefit of the doubt and say maybe. But I mean, we saw plenty of times Eevee go around for Kinessa, Androxus go around for Kinessa, wiping out that consistent and devastating burst damage. As a result, I would have honestly preferred that Androxus pick to act as more of a defender than anything else. It just didn't seem to be going in their favor. Going into game 2, what kind of maybe turn up, maybe champion swap do we want to see from TeamTracktor to have a chance of pulling us back, maybe taking it to a best of 3 or to the full best of 3?
I mean, I don't think this Kinessa pick is working. It's doing the damage, sure, but the issue with it is they just have to play. They have to play so far back, and with this Kinessa, they have to defend the Kinessa, and unless you go full defense comp, maybe a projector Ruckus build, despite the nerfs, maybe with a Barrack sitting back there, maybe a Grok totem. You'd have to put all of your eggs into that one basket for going on the defend the Kinessa, because, you know, you just have too much backline diving on the side of Flanksters right now to deal with. I don't see this Kinessa pick going well in the second game if they stick with it.
No, me neither. I definitely want to see that swapped out. Maybe get a Grok in there. I mean, nobody's going to say no to more healing, right? Despite Cauterize now being buffed to give a 100% healing reduction, a Grok totem can actually turn a team fight if it provides enough out-of-combat healing. With that in mind, we'll be getting into game 2 of this best of 3 set in just a moment. Join us in a couple of minutes.
Welcome back, everyone, to Game 2 of this best of 3 series between Team Flanksters and Tracksters, of course. Flanksters up 1-0 so far in this series. On the left side of your scoreboard, of course, we do have Flanksters, LoloBagget on Pip, Knipo on Grok, Tylon on Cassie, Jhamz on Drogos, and barfix on Barrack.
On the right-hand side of your scoreboard, of course, the challengers TeamTracktor, Sytrus on the Cassie pick this time, Roey on Pip, bransky on Androxus, Darksoul changing from Barrack to Ying, and PosioninGod on Eevee. So quite a lot of change up between the different players, seeing some different champions come out. Tylon, for example, swapping from Eevee to the Cassie. Jhamz going on to Drogos. Very excited to see how they perform. Just taking a look. Rain of Fire is the specialty card picked up by Jhamz this time. So increased damage after using Thrust. Immediately looking at point control and advantage to the side of Flankster once again.
Yeah, PosioninGod gets taken very low. He gets out of there. Branksy and Darksoul, meanwhile, go aggressive, but they get picked off very quickly. Loads of damage coming through from the side of Team Flankster. They're all controlling the point still, keeping the rest of Tractors zoned away. And, you know, I actually really like this Drogos pick. I'm going to talk about it for a few seconds here, because at first it made no sense. You know, they don't have to change out the Eevee for this Drogos was a bit of an odd thing for me, because, of course, the last game we had that Kinessa. So Eevee was actually very good at diving in on that back line as well onto the Barrack. But this time we see Kinessa gets taken out. We see a Ying and an Eevee. So Drogos actually is a lot better in this composition, and just either a very smart draft change there from the side of Flankster, or they were just trying something out, and luckily the comp changed to their advantage.
I would like to give them the benefit of the doubt. As far as I can see, I'm guessing it's just, let's try this one. Flankster steamrolled the last game so hard. They took a complete sweep that at this point they can afford to, you know, try some different compositions, test some stuff out, and look where the payload is already. I mean, it's got 2 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock. It's almost reached the base of TeamTracktor. This one looks like it's going heavily in Flankster's favor once again. Knipo managing to juke some shots mid-air, actually staying mounted all the while. Drops a healing totem. Payload pushing further and further forwards. We'll need some support from his team shortly, though. barfix on that Barrack, not actually pushing in with Knipo. Knipo on the Grok, of course, who we have talked about in previous weeks being the most efficient at escorting the payload, as you can still escort whilst in Ghost Walk form. But a great disengage from Sytrus pushes back Knipo for a second. Knipo 1 versus 4 on the point, drops the healing totem. Will need support from the team very, very quickly, but it's still going in favor of Flankster.
Ying ultimate comes down as they're still trying to push up the payload. PosioninGod gets taken down as well. Darksoul taken very low. That was a great salvo there from the side of Flanksters, as that managed just to secure themselves the first payload of the game, converting that to 4 points so far.
4 points to 0 indeed. Once again, looking a bit dismal for TeamTracktor here. Let's see if they can respawn. The point has now spawned at Waterfall on the right-hand side of your minimap. We are aware that the minimap is not actually showing up correctly, but bear with us. That should be fixed in upcoming spectator mode patches. Burn cards coming out now, not picked up previously for the attacking team, of course. One thing we should mention about burn cards is that when you are attacking on the payload, you currently can't purchase burn cards. Does give quite an advantage to the defending team, but there's a couple of develops there. I see some Master Riding, I see some Blast Shields, and a Gather by the looks of it on Jhamz.
Yeah, Dark Soul's taken very low. He backs out nicely with that dimensional link from Ying. Meanwhile, the speed boost and the barricade allowing the team to go really aggressive. They take down Branksy in the back. Jhamz and Tylon doing work with that one. PosioninGod keeps himself busy for a few seconds, but in the meanwhile, Dark Soul gets picked up by Knipo in the back once more. Jhamz going up in the air. He's looking for a few more kills. Doesn't manage to do it. Gets some damage connecting though. A lot of poke coming through from the side of Tractors, but they go way too aggressive. Knipo with the great Tempest takes them out, and it's just Roey left on the backline on this pip.
I want to give some credit to Roey.
Tylon picks that up.
I do want to give some credit to Roey, because Roey on that pip gets up, grabs the high ground, moves himself into a position where they can start barraging the backline, but the rest of the team aren't following up. This is partially due to the fact that there is no barrack pickup on the side of TeamTracktor, and as a result, there is no shielding. Shielding has been a staple of all competitive Paladins team comps from day one. It's just too valuable to give up. You can gain health from a shield. We can see that in the shield build that barfix is running. Actually, no, they're running the inflame build, but previously was running a shield build. But we have accelerator field, for example. Allies or yourself that walk through the barricade gain 75% increased movement speed. You can have cards like Infuse, which heal you over 3 seconds when you pass through the barricade. Cards which slow enemies down when they pass through the barricade. And all the time, it's blocking incoming shots. As a result, without Wrecker pickups on the side of TeamTracktor, they're having difficulty just contesting.
Yeah, Sytrus going for a nice flank there. We saw earlier with Tylon picking up a double kill. The rest of Tractors were waiting to fall back, and they got flanked hard by Tylon. Dark Soul managed to pick up barfix on the side, and Flankster's actually getting surrounded and collapsed on right here. Knipo, the only one left. Tylon having to 1 versus 3 right now. He managed to pick up Sytrus. He's going for another kill onto Branksy with the help of Jhamz. Roey picks him up, however, he gets taken down. Branksy up in the air above Jhamz. Doesn't seem like he's aware of it. Picks up the health nugget from him, steals that away. Jhamz trying to do what he can, but meanwhile, payload goes through. That's the end of the round.
And all of TeamTracktor, or rather the ones that mattered, nowhere near the payload when it was essential to be there, just pushed in by that Grok, all the while shoving forwards. Did want to point out, Tylon there got a godlike, which is, if I'm not mistaken, is that 9 or 13 kills, actually?
I think that's 13.
That is pretty impressive. It does get shut down, so no annihilation for you. No 15 last hit or killing blow kill streak there. Next capture point is spawning, and once again, Flankster just have a clear advantage here. They can afford to let this cap go to the side of TeamTracktor if they wish, and just look for a defense here. But considering, as we stated in the previous game, their dominating performance, we like to see them go straight for cap here and close out the game as quickly as possible.
Yeah, we do have ults on the side of Flanksters coming through as well. They do have the Cassio and the Drogo, so I'd like to see that one punch, the Dragon Punch, coming out for the last fight of the game. See if you can pick up anything with that. But actually, we do have quite a few burn cards right now on the side of Tractors as well. A lot more than I was expecting. They looked like they were saving up from the past few rounds to make sure that they could try and at least make some kind of momentum change here. Going to be tough, though.
Yep, it is actually surprising to see Branksy managing to pick up 3 burn cards, considering their sort of lackluster performance, shall we say, in Game 1. So doing a little bit more this time. They are running the Quick Draw card, which means after the nether step, they do gain 32% attack speed for 4 seconds, allowing you to burst down enemies quite easily. Pause has come out. Igloo point is the point of contention here. Knipo, once again, usually the first to fight, does jump straight onto the payload. The healing totem has been wiped out, but Branksy is just eliminated in response by Tylon. Dark Soul picks up a return kill, but advantage once again heavily to the side of Flankster.
Yeah, there goes the one punch. Doesn't connect. Flies straight past Jhamz in the backline right now. Dark Soul with a great dimensional link managed to survive, get out of dodge with that one, but he's going to be picked up by Knipo anyway. Jhamz taken very low. Silas hunting for that kill. Roey going to walk past him. Doesn't spot him, but Silas managed to take that. It's currently a 2v3 on the point. There's the Tempest from Knipo. He picks up 2 kills of his own. Barfix taken down on the point as well, but it's down to 87. TeamTracktor need to get point control right now. Looks like they're going to lose it, however. Branksy gets taken down by Knipo. It's just Roey left. Point goes to Flanksters, and they take the game.
They do indeed. Flankster now advancing to game 5 of round 2, which will be facing up against Death and Taxes in just a moment for the next set. Next game we're going to spectate by the looks of things. I'm going to say it's going to be District 69 versus Team Griffin. I think that's going to be a promising one to watch there.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one to see through to the end. Of course, two very, very evenly matched teams. District 69 have had it unfortunate with the brackets over the past few times, but they definitely have shown a lot of potential and shown that they're definitely a strong team, putting up fights against some of the best. But, you know, unfortunate brackets means they often do get the best of the brackets right at the start. They're up against Team Griffin, who are not one of the best, but definitely a contender in the semis, and then in the round 2 in the quarterfinals, and then in the semis they're moving forward to probably Death and Taxes, who are slated as the favorites coming in this week, coming through from their second place position in the previous one.
Well, we have disregarded teams before based on previous performance to find them come out of the gates absolutely swinging come the new tournaments. And as a result, we don't want to do that this time. But closing out right now, we'll be bringing you District 69 versus Team Griffin in just a moment. The fun starts in just a couple of minutes. If you're enjoying the stream, don't forget to share it on social media, and we'll be back as soon as that game is ready to go.